Hi everybody, it's Sandy here with you today. I'm just going to start this project here, and I have kind of a big dilemma. I thought I would do the sketch as my first project, even though I'll probably post it as my third project, so it'd be more posted in the middle of the month. But my favorite papers of the whole collection are probably this piece right here, that you see a little big square in, and what was this piece right here. But what happened was I decided that this is like probably my very top favorite piece of the collection. But, you know, I do try to kind of use the B-sides quite often, just because, you know, you don't want everything on the design team to all look exactly alike necessarily. So I'm thinking, okay, other people will probably demonstrate this one, so maybe I could use the B-sides. But anyway, I also wanted to kind of use these strawberries that's on the back side of the paper, and that would go well with the sketch to be like the scalloped piece. You know, you could trim it and make it be the scalloped piece. But when I was tearing, I was thinking about using this paper and turning it over and using the gam side and adding that like that and doing a page. So that was one idea. The reason you see the checked right here, the box, is because on the back, there are all these, you know, squares and rectangles that are great for adding in as pieces. And so what I did was I cut out this pink square and this square, which I guess they were side by side, and I thought that they could replicate the two extra pictures that are on the sketch, because I'm just going to use one photo, and I'm not doing a landscape. I'm going to do a portrait, but I think that's fine. You know, I'll be adding lots of other things to the page, so that's why there's a big hole in the thing, but it'll be covered up with, you know, all this stuff. And so just using my ruler, I think this prints out at about 8 inches, and so I'm thinking this is about 5 inches, and I've got 6 inches torn away here. Originally, if I already said this, I can't remember, I was going to use this piece of paper right here and trim it up, and then use some of the strawberry paper, like the bottom of the strawberry paper, and let that replicate the scallop piece, the darker piece there. And then I haven't decided yet what I'm going to use for the banner. But, so I'm stuck on what I'm going to use for my, what is it, 5x8 or there. And then this is going to be my photo, and I want her to show and be kind of a focal point, so I'm going to put her on top of the frame and do it like that. And then for my title piece, I've chosen this chipboard that came, you know, from the set with the Prima, that says Moments, and it will just go up here kind of on top of that 5x8 or however that's going to be. And then use these pieces, and I think I'm going to make this square into more like an imaged piece, and maybe put that tree stump and the teapot on there, and then put this down here somewhere. There's 2 of them here. I went ahead this time and punched out all my laser pieces so they would be at the ready. So I'll just have to choose maybe one of those. That could even come down from there. We'll see. I had thought also, when I cut the pink originally, that just to draw in some more of the yellow, I could put that on there as well, which does bring in more of the yellow tone since I've got yellow flowers in my photo. So, okay, I'm gonna go off camera here and make a decision, and then we'll get going. Okay, everybody, I'm back, and I've made some decisions. Whew, that took me a while, but anyway, I decided not to use the paper I was going with. This one, I'm actually going to, I believe, use that with the green gingham on another page. But I do really like that paper there, so that's to be seen. We'll worry about that later. So I went back to what I had originally chosen, maybe even off camera, this little gingham print with the flowers and then kind of a plain page. That's going to be my background. And then I cut it. I decided then later I wanted it to be a little bit larger than what it might appear on the sketch. And so I did that. And then this is going to be my scallop border piece. And this comes from the back of this paper right here, but actually I trimmed it off from the bottom part because I wanted to get that little flower right there. So I'm going to adhere that right about that, and that's going to kind of cover where I went ahead and enlarged my paper because I wanted it to be down a little bit more, and just to be sure we were covering that hole that I created, as well as to raise my photo and everything up a little higher on the page. That was kind of the big thing. I had plenty of paper to cover my hole, but I wanted to bring everything up just a little bit. All right, is that level? I can't even see. Okay, and then I think I'm going to use the lovely title. Now that I've got I'm going to have my focal point up higher than what I was previously looking at doing. So we'll get that, and I'm going to elevate my photo. And then these are going to be my pretend, excuse my hair getting in the camera, my pretend square photos. And if I wanted to, I could even mount those on some white cardstock or something else from the collection and let those be a little bit larger. And then you may want to trim your paper. This is probably 6 inches now, and I think it is, where we go. I've got that at 7.5 inches now. So if you wanted to do 8 inches, 6 by 8 or 5 by 8 would be a good size for that centerpiece. And then I've trimmed this out, and I'm going to let this be my banner piece, and I'll just go ahead and cut that. I'm not going to be using, won't need all of it anyway. I actually thought about using a tag as a banner, which would be another idea if you didn't really want to have a matching paper or coordinating paper or something like that, and you wanted to do that. So I'm just going to go ahead and put some glue on that and stick that in there. So that'll be really pretty. There's some cream graph paper, but there's also this peachy one that I got from, actually I believe it was the back side of this right here. So that coordinates really well. So we've got lots of reds and pinks here. And then let me go ahead and mount my photo, and then I'm going to color my chipboard. And I think I'm just going to put walnut stain on it so it'll be dark and it'll pop off the page. I think I'm just going to use some just plain vanilla walnut, but I was thinking about walnut from Shimmer's Paints that is, I think it's called Hot Fudge, and it's got a little bit of gold accent in it. So I may look around and see if I can see that. So let's see what else. We're going to have a Okay, I decided to come back and show you what I've done. I went ahead and put some twine up here in the little tag, and you could omit that or not, depending upon what you like. You can use anything, any color, you know, that goes with your page. And then I did adhere the banner, and I put the light branch down here with the mason jars. And I decided to add in the little fox right here. So the fox, the twine, and then I put the only leave footprints right there, as well as adding that. And then I used some rub-ons right up there, and I cut out this piece right here, and you could just watch me and you just need to run your popsicle stick or whatever tool it is that you like to use on rub-ons and just rub over that. I thought that would kind of counterbalance the lovely up there in the corner. I guess I did add my title since I was filming. And then when I do that, I think I'm just going to do some walnut splatters here and there. And then I think I'll pretty much be done unless I decide to come back and add something else, which is very possible. I feel real determined this time to, you know, when I think I'm done, go back and look at all my die cuts and my ephemera and just make sure that, you know, I've not left anything behind that, you know, might enhance my layout. All right, so there we go. It just looks like it's printed on the paper, doesn't it? And so I think that's good. I may add some pearls and such as that. I may even use white paint. So I'm either going to do some white paint splatters or walnut. And I just like to take a few minutes to think about that before I do. But other than that, I believe I'm done. So thank you for coming by today. I'll have all the details below about how you can order a kit. And I'll be showing you some close-ups in the finished layout here in just a moment. Thanks for coming by. Bye-bye.